This is the talk of Music City Real Estate.
Welcome back to another episode of the Talk of Music City Real Estate,
where we educate and motivate all things real estate.
My name is Monte Moore with Realty One Group Music City.
Hey, and I'm Carey Ann with CMG Financial and My Mortgage Team.
Every week we'll be posting a new episode chock full of Nashville real estate value.
Yes, and you can follow along and subscribe at talkmusiccity.com.
Got a question for us? Ask away. Questions at talkmusiccity.com. That's questions at talkmusiccity.com.
We are back. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We've got a special guest.
We do. An amazing lady, a lady that's we're blessed to have in our family of real estate professionals, Miss Viviana Milam. How are you?
Very good. Thank
it's so
you.
Good to see
Welcome.
you.
Thank you so much.
Such an awesome lady, an awesome story. We're looking so forward to getting into this story. Viviana, can't wait.
Yes, but before we get started, we want to give a big shout out to our amazing sponsor, Music City Removal. They are the #1 junk removal service in Nashville from residential, commercial, and construction. They're experts in ridding you of junk. Their costs include labor and dumping fees without any hidden or added expenses. Whether you need a full clean out or just one item removed, they have you covered.
The Music City Removal team knows the importance of respect and trust while in someone else's home. They understand the inconvenience of junk left behind by previous homeowners and tenants and are determined to provide an affordable and customer-focused junk removal service that puts you first. For a free on-site estimate, just go to musiccityremoval.com. That's musiccityremoval.com.
Yes, Music City Removal, because clutter ain't cute.
Unlike you two ladies.
Oh.
So good to see your beautiful faces here today.
Thank you. So Miss Viviana is with us today. She is a real estate agent with Realty One Group.
She is, and we're blessed to have her. And she's got some tenure in the industry. So Viviana, we have a conviction here, or at least I do.
Okay.
That before we ever get into the message, we've got to certainly first believe the messenger. And you've earned the right, I believe, to be a messenger on the topic of real estate and the Hispanic marketplace and the growth here in Middle Tennessee and all the wonderful things that you represent. So tell us about your background.
Well, thank you. I'm blessed to be here, and I'm honored to be here with you, Monte, with Carey Ann. You guys are greats in the business. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I feel blessed that I have been able to work with the Hispanic community. I moved to Tennessee back in 1998.
Okay.
Went to work for a builder. And by working with this builder, he was always kind of giving me the little push. Viviana, there are Hispanics living here. And I'm like, yes, I'm sure there are. And so he gave me that push, the push to go to real estate school. And once I got my license, he gave me the push out of the office. Really? He says, go. Wow. And you need to be in Nashville. When I arrived in 1998, there were about maybe 30,000 Hispanics. And to me, that seemed like a lot.
Sure.
So I started reaching out. I used some kind of unconventional ways. I just didn't know, how do I reach these people? Once I got my business cards, I stood in front of Walmarts.
Wow.
And every time someone that looked to be Hispanic walked out, I gave them a card. I let them know that I was here for them. I asked, I wasn't selling anything, but I wanted to know, how can I help you?
Sure, yeah.
Throughout the years, I noticed there was a need for education. A lot of these people were first-generation Hispanics just moving to the area. A few that I ran into, they were born to Hispanic parents. So I saw that there was a need. I had no experience, no formal experience in radio. So
Wow.
I thought, what does this community do, to get news? There were very few Hispanic newspapers. There might have been one or two. There was 2 radio stations at the time. So I thought, well, maybe I can go on air and someone can interview me and ask me about the Hispanic community. So I approached the radio stations. And once I got the taste of being behind the microphone, I thought, oh my goodness, my people need education. What better way to get them to the next level, to empower them with education? So I started a show. I didn't have a name at the time, so we just kind of went on air, and I started bringing in some people, some banks, and finally one day someone said, "Gosh, this is all about financial, all things financial. Love your show," and that's the way my name was created, and it's called Todo Financiero.
Wow.
So on my show every week since 2005. I interview, I have sponsors now. Our goal is only to educate
Love
our
that.
community.
Wow.
Yes.
That is wonderful.
I love that. I've been educating since 2005, and it's such a blessing. It's such a good feeling when you see the first generation come in, buy a house, then you see their children buying homes. And then you're able to bring to the table, get them together with other people that they need, maybe insurance.
Be the connector,
Connecting the community has been a passion for me.
Wow, amazing to think 15 years, once a week for the last 15 years. That's
Yes, ma'am.
Bonnie and I tried to do that for 12 months. we lasted for 12 months
Yeah.
because that is a commitment.
That's a
And that
is.
is
And
amazing.
sometimes you run out of, what am I going to say this week? But there is always people in need.
Sure.
People are listening attentively. They might not call because they're afraid, but they keep your number. They call you after the show, and then, gosh, what a blessing to connect them and help them.
Well, so many times when we talk about one subject, if you can talk about it a different way, it maybe resonates with the listener
Yes.
a little bit more. So I find that you can end up talking about the same thing every week if you want to, but it just comes across a different way, and then they finally get in and feel more comfortable and confident within that particular subject. So
That
that's
and
exciting.
people's lives are always changing. And tonight, somebody's sitting around the kitchen table talking about, I wish we knew more about buying a
and such,
home.
Right.
I've heard there's a radio station. What is it called again?
Todo Financiero.
And where do
right.
they find that radio station? Or excuse me, the show?
The show, they can every week I'm on a radio station called El Jefe. It's a 97 FM station. It's 97.6 FM, and they can tune in at 1 o'clock, from 1 to 2 o'clock.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what day was it again? Did you say?
It's on Thursdays.
On Thursdays.
On Thursday, every Thursday. I've been blessed as well, and in the last 7 years, I have worked in immigration with top lawyers, and have helped them with with interpretations and translations. So that's kind of helped me have an edge too on the changes of immigration. And I'm sure you guys, as a lender, it has helped me connect throughout the years with lenders just like you guys that want to help, that want to reach out, that want to educate our community as well.
And we want to do the loans the right way, too. I think that's really important. Being with the company that we are, and now we allow for mortgage financing from start to finish to be, all the documents can be in Spanish, and if that is a language that they're more comfortable understanding in, reading and listening to, then we definitely want to support that. So we've been helping many families over the past, year or so, because I understood the need to be able to assist. And I think the communication was really important for me. And since I don't speak Spanish, I got my training through Dora the Explorer with my daughter. That's as far as I got.
That's great.
But I added another team member, just so we could focus and open up that communication, because I think that's really important, and do the loans the right way, and provide quality business for all. I think that's important as well.
Yes, throughout the years, I have noticed title companies, lenders, attorneys, they're adding on bilingual staff, and that's very important. One of the reasons I was telling you before the show, one of the reasons I did my show is one day I walked into a closing and there was a 10-year-old translating.
Right.
Their poor families just, didn't have enough English to understand the closing process. And I thought, oh my goodness, what is a 10-year-old doing? So I thought, no, we need to teach these people.
Oh, that is important, because they could say the sentence, but it not be what you're actually trying to say. Sometimes it's how you say it,
And how important it is that experience and those documents. So for you to put them in the right language to start with, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I learned my lesson the hard way. You're not able to market in Spanish unless all of your documents are in Spanish. So got my hands slapped really fast because I didn't know that. And then we quickly got to work, and all of our documents from start to finish are in Spanish. And actually on my website, you can go, there's a Spanish page there. There's some questions that they can ask and begin the process if they wanted to start, online. So we've added that as well. So trying to bring more awareness and more availability for communication, whether that's through technology, through email, and or through the phone, because we also have a Spanish line that is answered and responded in Spanish.
What is that?
Yeah, that's a good line. That's 567-8950. So it's 615-567-8950, and that's actually answered 7 days a week.
I'm assuming by somebody who speaks Spanish.
Yes, absolutely.
That's wonderful. I'm going to try the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mitch, we added Mitch to the team. Time is flying, so it could have been 5 years at this point, but I think it's only been a year. But he's got a great personality, and he's been under my wing and learning how to do loans the way that we do it here at CMG Financial, and he's just been
he's
a
quickly
blessing.
becoming one of your top guys, isn't he?
Yeah, all my guys are top guys when you do as much business as we do, but he definitely really is one that educates. It slows down enough. I think that's important too, right? Is that we take the time to make sure everybody feels comfortable, with everything that they have to do with the loans now, because with COVID, it doesn't matter what language you're speaking. It's the loan is the loan is the loan. And you have to make sure that, like you were saying with immigration, if there's certain extra paperwork that we need,
yes.
If we're working with an asylum versus certain visa requirements, then we have the DACA levels and different things like that we need to work through. So we definitely help with all of that. So
yeah, that's wonderful. A lot of people already work with bilingual realtors, so that helps out in the process.
Sure.
But it's really important from a standpoint from a mortgage that you guys know the immigration status,
sure,
the different statuses. And I noticed that a lot of mortgage companies are still kind of learning. They're catching on. Everyone thinks that a Hispanic has a visa, and they're not aware that Hispanics have work authorizations to be in the United States and partake in certain things. And one of those things is buying a home.
Yeah, for sure. And then we also find too that sometimes it's just the way that it lines up that their documents may be expiring.
That's right.
And so some lenders have a concern of that because they have not worked through that before. And so working with a trusted lender that has the experience knows exactly what documentation that you need. And we just go backwards to show proof of renewals. So we are comfortable with moving forward with the understanding that they're clearly going to be renewed again and again and again. So that's how we handle that.
So Viviana, for the listeners that are maybe not that attached to the Hispanic market, what can we do? What can we do to help the process and help better educate those consumers like you're doing? And what can we do? Just direct them to people like yourself?
Direct them to people that are bilingual. Most Hispanics, I've noticed, they don't mind working with someone that doesn't speak their language, as long as that person can direct them or to a lender, to an attorney, to someone of trust to them that can help them along the process. They're very open-minded. They are ready and willing and able to learn. Back when I started in 1998, I'm probably 80% of my clients had their money in their mattress. They didn't even trust banks back then. So when I'm talking about on an education level, we even had to teach them on air to trust a bank, the importance of opening an account. It has taken quite a few years, but I think they're at the level now that they are ready to be even more empowered. And I think if they land with the right person that's willing to kind of take them by the hand, that's all they need. That's all they need.
So she was sharing with me and bringing me back to a memory of that we might have worked together. So way back in the day to a company called CTX Mortgage. That was like 15 years ago.
It was 15 years ago. It was
so long ago. I'm like, oh, look at us go. We're still going strong.
and my question was, did they hire 15-year-olds?
I love that.
That's what you guys were.
I love that.
Time.
But
that's
I mean, this industry has just been a true blessing, and to have so many people be true educators. I think we have been able to expand our businesses just by education.
That's right.
And that's a lot of that I do too. That's one of my big passions. I think one of my previous lives before I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher,
Really?
And so I started my schooling in that direction and quickly realized that I need to go a different direction, but I'm now educating, I teach classes on a regular basis. So it's interesting how, you go back to what you're truly passionate about. That's and so your radio show is full education, and that's important. I'm a big believer, the more we know, the more confidence we can create, within this industry, and helping more understand the process early on is a huge win for everybody too.
Right. And I'm sure you have seen the changes in the immigration and with the Hispanics in the last 15 years.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I really wanted to get into the market, because I was trying to help many more clients, and I felt like I just wasn't providing enough of a service because my communication wasn't strong as I would. And so adding and creating that department and that division within our office was really important. One of my passions too.
I think that's one of the reasons why we all three get along so well, because we all have a passion to educate.
Yes.
A passion to empower our agents and our clients, and through education. So I love you ladies. I just really appreciate that.
So good. So as a real estate agent, and being one for as long as you have, our listeners are mostly real estate agents, and maybe you can share much of your creative marketing. So, being different, stepping out, being a voice through radio is really important. Do you do any other things to market yourself, to brand yourself?
I used to do a lot of education on the level of teaming up with nonprofit organizations.
Oh, good.
Whenever they had any type of educational seminar going on, I would show up. I've not done a lot of advertising per se, like on newspapers and so forth. It's more been word of mouth, and for the longest time, one-on-one. It just took me such a long time, and with the Hispanic community, at first they were kind of afraid to come out to a seminar. They didn't know what to expect, who was going to be there. We kind of joked around, with other people that maybe we shouldn't dress up in suits because they thought it might be immigration showing up, at the seminar.
Sure.
Bless their hearts.
But you know what? It has helped them along, just being out in the community. And if people want to get involved, there's many radio stations now, many newspapers. There are many events. Just come out to events. And for example, they have a new Plaza Mariachi on Nolensville Road. On Thursdays, they have salsa dancing. Oh. And they have different events going on at the plaza. So people just can come out and just kind of mingle. And it's very diverse. It's not only Hispanic, community. You see all communities out there. So it's really important just to kind of get out there. And
show your face, basically.
Show your face.
What you're referencing. Yeah.
I love your team that you have.
Thank you.
They're awesome people.
They are. We have Eduardo Hutchinson. He's from the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And Agustina Olmsted. She's from Argentina, as well as I am. We're both from Argentina.
Precious people.
They're awesome, and they're very like-minded. They want to help, and they're out there always in the community, always doing something. Yeah.
So last week we talked about leveraging your time and building a team, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
And so I'd love to hear your voice on that, and share, when was it that you decided that a team was necessary to start to build? Did that just organically happen, or was that strategic?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I think about 5 years ago, Viviana couldn't be everywhere.
Sure.
I just couldn't be everywhere. You know, people were calling me. If it wasn't real estate, it was immigration. Oh my goodness, my husband's in jail. Can you help? Can you do this?
Wow.
Or no, but I'll connect you. I'm always connecting people.
Sure,
But I
yeah.
know a great attorney. I know this. And I was kind of exhausted. At one point, I'm like, there's other people like me that, feel the way I feel as passionate about our people. Let me get a team together.
Yeah.
And I had known Eduardo Hutchinson for a long time. Him and I worked at a newspaper,
Oh,
El
wow.
Crucero newspaper. Yeah, and he did like a lot of the editorials. I did a lot of the sales. So I've always known him, and I've known about his passion. So I invited him onto the team.
I love his spirit.
Oh, his spirit
Just
is
a good
great.
man.
Yeah, he's like a big teddy bear, isn't he? Yeah, he
just
sure
want
is.
to hug him when you
Yeah,
say
you
it.
do. Yeah, you do. And then Agustina, I just met a couple of years ago, and we started talking. And she also showed, great interest, in the community. And she's from Argentina, so she's kind of new to the area too, and she wanted to connect with people. So it's
And you're
just
taking her from the ground up,
yes,
aren't you?
yes, most definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So she, she's learning, the ropes of, not only real estate, but connecting to the community, coming on the show. So she's learning, how to do the show as well.
One of the things I love about Augustina, she's always dialed into the training.
Always.
She's hungry to
always.
learn.
She's so hungry to learn.
She's
That's
voracious,
awesome.
voracious learner.
Yes,
Love that.
she sure is.
Well, what you said too is you looked at her characteristics that she already was passionate about the community, and that was
Yes.
super important. So when you're building that team, finding the compliments of you is key,
And
right?
it was just so natural. Everything just
Right.
fell, just fell into place, and we're just like a, big family. And then finding, Realty One and Monte and your wife Connie has been a blessing.
Well,
Oh,
thank you.
great.
It's
Thank
been
you.
a blessing walking in here. I mean, we just felt it. All three of us came in and we're like, this is the place.
Oh,
It took Eduardo a little bit. Didn't it?
It took him a few minutes.
It took him a few minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Because
it,
he's
yeah.
a hard-headed guy like myself, and I'm
Yeah.
not making any quick decisions. I'm going
That's
to go home and
right.
think
That's
about
right.
it.
That's right. We
He
felt
was
it.
excited,
We
yeah.
felt it.
So where do you see the industry going? Maybe where do you see all of the community helping folks who speak Spanish, the Hispanic community, et cetera, in the near future? Where do you see within real estate?
I still feel that there's still a lot of education, to be done. And the reason is because the ever-changing, even mortgage industry, it's changing so fast. And people are like, but I thought I qualified, but what do I need to do now? So I think we still need to continue educating them, A lot of people are becoming not only first-time home buyers, but they're buying their investment homes. And so they still need that education. I think we still need a lot of education.
You mentioned the size of the Hispanic market here when you first started. Do you have any idea what it is now?
I think we're between 600,000 and 700,000.
No kidding. That's-
I would say
That's incredible.
we're about maybe 10 to 12% of our population. Yes, it has grown exponentially. It's just crazy. It's wonderful.
Well, I know our company has grown exponentially as well in that particular group, and I've never seen a harder working group of people across the board, and such a pleasant spirit to work with. We feel so blessed to have such a multicultural company.
Yes.
I actually have a new gentleman starting next week. He has just been in customer service for years and speaks Spanish. He actually managed that department for another company, and so he's joining the team as well. So we can actually really strengthen that. Only one speaking Spanish, like you said. There's only so much time in a day.
Yeah.
And my daughter knows more than I do, so that's I could take a pause and learn, or I could hire an amazing.
6 now, isn't she? Or 7?
She's 7, yes, 7. Well, maybe. Can you hire them this young? She's got to get to school there, money. But so excited to continue to, provide more, jobs and more availability within, so we can strengthen that department and help many more families too.
Let's make sure though that the listeners and the watchers our viewers rather, can get a hold of both of you ladies again. Can you give us your information?
Fantastic. They can call me at 615-947-3759. And this is anybody can call if you are a realtor and you're having issues or trying to communicate with the Hispanic community. We're more than happy to help you.
So
to kind of move you along.
If I'm a non-Hispanic speaking realtor and I want to refer somebody to you, is that okay?
Most definitely, yes.
Can you give that number again?
Yes, 615-947-3759.
Awesome. And your radio show again is?
Todo Financiero every Thursday from 1 to 2 on El Jefe 96.7.
6.7.
Yes.
That's FM.
FM.
Awesome.
Yes, FM.
That is wonderful.
And yours, Carey Ann?
Yeah, so if you have somebody who would like who speaks Spanish and would like to have some support from a mortgage standpoint, they can call and get a live person speaking in Spanish. It is 615-567-8950. That's 567-8950. They can also go online as well at my website, which is Your TN Lending Solution, and there's an Espanol tab there, and everything is in Spanish too.
Awesome.
We start and finish in Spanish.
That's
impressive.
Cool.
That's impressive.
That is impressive.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
And it's wonderful, like you shared before, there's some amazing title companies that we work with as well, so they can. Now, we also volunteer. Mitch will be at the closing, to translate if necessary. Right. But there's so many title companies that have somebody who speaks Spanish, and that's a huge win as well.
That is.
Because then they can actually truly understand and communicate all of the closing documents in Spanish.
Right.
So.
Viviana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I've
enjoyed it so much.
Precious spirit in our organization.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure having you here. Thank you all for listening again. Talk of Music City. We'll see you again next week.